Good morning. Now I am going to discuss another important head of income from other sources under IT Act. Income from other sources under IT Act. This is the last head of income, otherwise called residual head of income under IT. Last head of income called residual head. Section 56, 57, 58 of IT Act specifically dealt with this head of income, scope, coverage, taxability, fully covered under these sections. Section 56(1) dealing with scope and coverage of those incomes coming under income from other source. Section 56 subsection 2 of IT Act specifically provides certain items of incomes being chargeable to tax under this head. Specifically means always chargeable under this head. Always chargeable under this head. Such incomes are 11 such type of incomes. We have to discuss one by one. So, what I mean to say, again, section 56, scope and income chargeable under this head. Section 57, deductions allowed under this head. And section 58, amounts those are not deductible. Those are not deductible under this head. We can say it covers all other incomes which are uncovered and which are not exempted from tax. Means other four heads of incomes are there. Those incomes are not covered under such four heads and not exclusively exempted under Income Tax Act. Such incomes are covered under this head. So what are the 11 incomes? Those are always chargeable under income from other source. So it says such incomes are first dividends, number 2 interest on securities, number 3 winning from lotteries, number 4 gift, number 5 employee contribution towards staff welfare scheme or staff welfare fund. That is contribution to different funds, provident fund, ESI, like this. Then rental income, hiring income of machinery, plant or furniture. Then rental income of letting out of plant, machinery, furniture along with the building. And both are not separable. If separable, then rent of the item goes to house property and other incomes are coming under income from other sources. But if it is not separable, it will be treated under income from other source. If it is not treated under business profession. Then amount received under Keyman insurance policy. Then advance money received towards negotiation for transfer of capital asset. We'll discuss one by one. Interest on compensation or enhanced compensation. And 11th one is compensation on termination of employment. If any compensation paid, that is also coming under this head of income. Now we can discuss, irrespective to this compulsory chargeable incomes under the head, what are the other incomes normally taxable under this head. Such incomes are income from subletting, income from bank deposits, ground rent, director's fees, agricultural income received outside India. As you know, agricultural income in India is exempted as per the our Income Tax Act, but outside India it is taxable. A rent of vacant plot of land. Insurance commission, if any receipt, that is chargeable under income from other source. Interest on foreign government securities. Remember students, foreign government securities. Mining rent and royalties. Casual income. Casual means which is not usual in the course of business. Casual income. Income from undisclosed sources. That is very important. On scrutiny, inquiry, investigation. If some undisclosed incomes are finding out, that is coming under income from other source. Family pension. We have to discuss later on family pension. But family pension, when the employee deceased, the family members, any one of the family member will get family pension, and that is to be taxed under this head of income. Salaries of MP, MLA and MLC. MP, Member of Parliament; MLA, Member of Legislative Assembly; MLC, Member of Legislative Council. So, these three persons' income is coming under this head. Directors' Guarantee Commission. The directors are given guarantee, such commission is also coming under this head. Income from racing establishments. As you know, racing establishment, cash income is coming. Racing establishment income is also horse race. That is in this coming under this head. Interest income from URPF, unrecognized provident fund. So unrecognized provident fund means which is not recognized by IT authorities. Employee, employer, mutual understanding. They have opened a provident fund, and any interest received from such fund that is to be taxed under income from other source. That is purely at the time of retirement. Then interest received before commencement of business. Important. Before commencement of business, if you receive any interest before commencement of business, that is also covered under income from other source. Then interest on IT refunds, income tax refunds. Any interest we receive due to delay refund of IT people's, delay IT refund being receivable, then interest, we have to receive interest from the department, that is also taxed under income from other source. The income chargeable under this head is computed according to the method of accounting regularly followed by the assessee. Important. Method of accountancy regularly followed by the assessee. Consistent basis. That is what? If the books of records, accounts are kept under mercantile system, the income and expenditure treated under or treated are deductible under a due basis. If the books of account maintained under cash system, then the income is chargeable under receipt basis and the expenditure deductible under payment basis. Now we'll discuss in detail one by one item. Compulsory taxation, compulsory income, those are coming. First one is dividend. Students, dividend is a big chapter to discuss, but from the taxation point of view and from the examination point of view, we are discussed here because exam is very near and this recording is purely exam oriented. How to have to attend the questions of income from other source. On that basis, the clip is recorded. So now we see dividend. As you know, what is dividend? The distributable profit goes to the members. Out of the distributable profit the company declared, that is the members, a share of it goes to the members. So from the taxation point of view, dividend is taxable. As you know, dividend, Indian company under 10 subsection 34, it was exempted up to 1718 and assessment year, then it is now taxable under section 115 BBDA. Section 115 BBDA. It is applicable if following two conditions are satisfied. 115 BBDA applicable if following two conditions satisfied. And condition number one, the assessee is shareholder. Yes, the assessee is shareholder who gets dividend from domestic company. Yes, that is important. Receive dividend from domestic company, being resident in India. So he is resident in India and getting dividend from domestic company. And number two, total income of the assessee. Total income of the assessee includes any income in aggregate. Any income in aggregate exceeding rupees 10 lakh. Exceeding rupees 10 lakh. 10 lakh, not in 10 lakh by way of dividend. distributed or paid by a domestic company. Distributed or paid by a domestic company. If the two above conditions satisfied, then dividend is taxable. And if the above two conditions satisfied, the dividend income from domestic company in excess of rupees 10 lakh is chargeable to tax at the rate of 10% plus surcharge plus education cess. 10% tax rate plus surcharge plus cess, education cess. One important point, remember, tax under section 115 BBD is not applicable in the case of deemed dividend. As you know, deemed dividend, it is defined under section 2 subsection 22 and subsection E. 222 and subsection E. 2 subsection 22 subsection E. Deemed dividend, it is not applicable. That is not applicable 150 BBD. Then we'll talk about interest from securities. If the interest is not chargeable to tax under the head profit and gains of business and profession, so any interest we received, if it is not chargeable under income from business profession, then such income shall be taxable under income from other source. Such income is taxable under income from other source. Then we'll talk about winning from lotteries. Winning means the word winning is important. So any winning is taxable. Winning from lotteries, crossword puzzles, races, including horse race, card games, and any other games such as betting, gambling, and etc. Betting, gambling is taxable under this head of income. The entire amount of winning without any expenditure. Remember, very important, the entire amount of winning means gross amount without any expenditure or allowance or deductions. Any expenditure, allowance or deduction from section 80 to 80U. As you know, the deductions under IT is allowed under section 80 to 80U will be taxable. So gross income. Expenses relating to the activity of owning and maintaining racehorses are allowed. So what expenses are allowed? Owning and maintaining horse races. Such expenses are allowed from the income. And the rate of tax is 30%. 30%. 30% है plus surcharge if it is applicable and plus 4% cess. 4% cess. As you know, cess is 4% now. Then we'll talk about gift. Any gift received by employees from employer. Any gift received by employees from employer due to employee and employer relationship. Remember, employee-employer relationship is always taxable. Even if received on marriage under income from salary. Where is it taxable? Income from salary. Even though marriage gift employer को देना है तो इसको भी हम taxable ले सकता है, लेंगे. Any gift received on behalf, any gift received or benefit received due to business or profession is taxable under PGBP. PGBP, profit and gains of business profession. That is under section 28. So any business gift, any gift received in relation to due to business or profession also taxable under section 28. But you remember, now I discuss very important point from examination point of view. Gift of money or property totally not taxable. Gift of money or property totally not taxable under the following cases if it is received. Under following cases if it is received, number one, on the occasion of marriage. On the occasion of marriage from any relative, under will or inheritance, or in contemplation of death from any registered trust which is registered under section 12AA of IT Act. Registered trust means under section 12AA. 12AA, as you know, religious charitable trust, income exempted. From any hospital or medical institutions, any gift received is exempted, not taxable. From any university or educational institution, from any local authority, or by any fund, trust, hospital, medical, by any fund, trust, hospital, medical institutions, educational institution covered under 1023C of IT Act. 1023C of, exempted income. There is all incomes under 1023C is exempted. So कहाँ से बना है? By any fund, trust, hospital, medical institution, education institution covered under 1023C of the IT Act. Now we'll discuss about section 56 to 10. That is very important. Now we'll discuss about property. That is cash gift is over property. Now we'll discuss about property. Movable, immovable. Movable, immovable, those are not taxable. Remember, property movable or immovable, those are not taxable. Shares and securities, jewelry, painting, drawing, archaeological collection, or in the nature of any other artwork, bullion, these are not taxable. They are not taxable. In case of immovable, if any property received as a gift or received at consideration of less than 50,000, not taxable. Again, you remember, in any property received as gift or received at consideration of less than rupees 50,000, not taxable. And you remember another thing, if car, iPhone, TV, wristwatch, etc. received at a consideration more than rupees 50,000, that is also not taxable. So these are personal effects, car, iPhone, TV, wristwatch, even though the consideration more than 50,000, not taxable. Now we have to discuss who is a relative under IT Act. As you know, the word relative is defined under section 2, subsection 41 of the IT Act. And who is a relative? Now in detail we have to discuss. Relative in relation to an individual. If we tell about an individual, first relative, spouse. Either spouse. As you know, husband is the spouse of the wife, wife is the husband of the wife, is the spouse of the husband. So first one is spouse. Then brother or sister of the individual. Brother or sister. Then brother or sister of the spouse of the individual. Brother and sister of the spouse of the individual. Then brother or sister of either of the parents of the individual. Either of the parents of the individual. Brother of the either of the parent of the individual. And then lineal ascended or descended. That is top to bottom or bottom to top. Lineal ascended or descended of the individual. That is purely blood relationship. Lineal ascended descended means the blood relationship, top to bottom, bottom to top. And any lineal ascended descended of the spouse of the individual. First one, lineal ascended descended of the individual. And number two, lineal ascended descended of the spouse of the individual. You see how long the relative concept, how it is the relative concept one must have to know. That is in case of individual. If you talk about in case of HUF, any member of the HUF is a relative. Any member. As you know, in the HUF, all peoples are linearly descended to a single person. That person is called Karta, and all the persons in the HUF are called members. So any member of the HUF is a relative. Now we'll talk about section 56 to 10 applied only if property is the nature of capital asset. Student, remember, property means it must be a capital asset. Then only the section is applicable of the recipient, capital asset of the recipient. But it is not applicable if it is stock in trade. Remember, again you remember, if it is capital asset, only the word is applicable 56 to 10, gift of properties. But if it is stock in trade, that is not applicable. If assessee is not satisfied with the stamp duty value, if the assessee is not satisfied with the stamp duty value, then in his case may be referred to valuation officer. So the valuation officer case may be related to valuation officer. If assessee is not satisfied with the stamp duty value, case referred to valuation officer. Then we'll talk about employees' contribution towards staff welfare scheme. Staff welfare scheme. That is, so many welfare scheme the employer has for the employee. Provident fund, ESI, these funds are so many funds because at the time of retirement and some amount will have to give given to the employee for the future life. That's why any employee's contribution towards staff welfare fund is exempted, is taxable in this case. Any sum received by the associate from his employees, any sum received by the associate from his employees as contribution to any staff welfare scheme such as provident fund, ESI, etc. is taxable in the hands of the employer. In the hands of the employer. And what is requirement? Under the head income from other sources, one thing is important, before due date, such amount must be deposited. Such amount must be deposited before due date. Due date means before filing IT return with the prescribed authorities. Then we'll talk about rental income, machinery, plant or furniture. It means if the above assets are let on hire, and the income is not chargeable to income tax. We have received the income by letting plant and machinery, but that is not taxable under the head profits and gains of business. If it is not taxable under profit and gains of business or profession, then that is taxable under income from other source. Then we talk about rental income of letting out of plant, machinery or furniture along with building. Along with building means the plant, furniture, these are all installed and cannot be separable. Cannot be separable. Means splitting point is not there, no separable is there, that is fixed. In such case, also the rental income is taxable under this head, subject to if the same is not taxable under business profession under section 28. If it is not taxable under section 28, taxable under income from other source. Then we'll talk about amount received under Keyman insurance policy. Keyman insurance policy. So any amount received under Keyman insurance policy, including any bonus, insurance policy including bonus is taxable under this head. Income plus bonus, this head of income. If the same is not taxable under salary income or business income, yes, once you must have to remember, it maybe goes to salary income or business profession. If it is not taxed, because what I mean to say, in Indian Income Tax Act, there is no double taxation, there is no double punishment. So once it is taxed, again it cannot be taxed. So if it is not taxed under salary income or business income, then it is taxable under income from other source. Then we'll talk about, now we'll talk about advance money received towards negotiation for a transfer of capital asset. So as you know, negotiation of transfer of capital means when you are for the purchase of selling of a capital asset, we have to make different type of agreements, because one party we have to receive advance and that party committed to pay the balance amount but not paid within the agreed time. Then that money is forfeited. Likewise, if 1, 2, 3, 4 persons we have received, if the assessee has not sold the asset but received the advance money and make it forfeited, it becomes an income. How the treatment now we are talking. This is the forfeited amount received in the course of negotiations for a transfer of capital asset. Where transfer of asset does not arise, means transfer of asset does not take place, such amount is liable to income tax under the head income from other sources. The amount received by the assessee without transferring the forfeited amount, that is taxable under income from other source. Then we are talking about interest on compensation or enhanced compensation. So students, what is compensation? Normally compensation is received in case of compulsory acquisition. Under the head capital gain, compulsory acquisition of land and building by the government. Though once compulsory acquisition takes place, compensation is received by the assessee, and compensation may be received once or in a number of installments. That is called initial compensation and final compensation. How to treat, you just see. Particularly in case of compulsory acquisition of land and building, the government paid compensation, that may be final compensation. In such case, for a delay of compensation received, if takes place, interest is received by the assessee. Interest is received by the assessee, and such interest shall be chargeable under the head income from other sources. So though that is income, anywhere it is to be taxable, so it is taxable under income from other source. Then you have to see compensation on termination of employment. The last one, 11 compulsory incomes. Compensation on termination of employment. So any compensation received by a person on termination of employment, on termination of or retrenchment of employment, mode or any sort of termination, retrenchment, modification of employment, that is to be treated as income and liable to tax under income from other source. Income from other source. Then liable to tax under head income from other source by the person if it is other than employer. If it is other than employer, the income from other source. If it is received from the employer, then it is taxable as profits. Yes. If it is from the employer, then it is taxable as profits in lieu of salary under the head salary income. Yes. Profits in lieu of salary under the head salary income. So other than employer, income from other source, employer, profits and gains, profits in lieu of salary under the head salaries. Then we will talk about the second part, that is deductions. Deductions under income from other source. Deductions are covered under section 57. Section 57. Because we know that net income is liable to tax, deductions are allowed. The following deductions are allowed normally. Any sum paid by way of commission to a banker towards realization dividend. If we talk about dividend, to realize the dividend, if you will pay some commission to the banker or interest on securities, in case of securities, interest on securities, this expenditure is allowed on due basis. Such expenditure allowed on due basis or payment basis according to system of accounting followed by the assessee. The system of accounting is followed by the assessee, due or payment basis, such expenditures are allowed to be deducted from the source of income. Then in respect of family pension, the amount deducted from the family pension is rupees 15,000 or 33 1/3%, one third, 33 1/3% of such income. Such income is the family pension income, whichever is less. That is 15,000 rupees or one third of the amount received, family pension, whichever is less is deducted. Family pension means regular monthly pension. Family pension means regular monthly pension payable by the employer. By whom? The employer to a family member of an employee in the event of his death. In the event of his death, paid by. In respect to employee contribution towards staff welfare scheme, we have already discussed staff welfare scheme. The deduction is made in respect of any amount received by a taxpayer as contribution. Any amount received by a taxpayer as contribution from his employee towards staff welfare fund. The amount received by the employer from the employee to a staff welfare fund of such employee. This deduction is allowed if such a sum is credited by the taxpayer. Again, I repeat the word. Earlier I repeat the sentence. If the such income what is deducted is credited by the taxpayer to the employee's account in the relevant fund before the due date. If it is credited before and deposited before the due date, deduction is allowed. Deduction is allowed. Otherwise, it is to be disallowed. Deduction is allowed. Then we will talk about in case of letting of plant, machinery, furniture, building, etc. In case of letting of plant, machinery, furniture, building, etc., normal expenses like repairs, insurance premium, depreciation, etc. deducted. Insurance premium, deducts repairs and depreciation deducted. Any other genuine expenditure allowed subject to such amount wholly and exclusively expended for the purpose of earning the income. If you have exclusively expended certain incomes for the purpose, for certain expenses for the purpose of earning the income and satisfied that this expenditure is genuine, then it is allowed. The expenditure must be relevance, the expenditure must not be capital expenditure, means it is a revenue expenditure. Must not be nature of personal expenditure. It is not a personal expenses of the assessee. And another important thing is incurred during the previous year. The expenditure is incurred during the previous year, not capital, not personal. In case of interest on compensation received, interest on compensation, that is in case of compulsory acquisition, received, then standard deduction is allowed. From that amount, standard deduction allowed, that is a sum equal to 50% of such income. 50% of such income is allowed standard deduction. So these are the above deductions allowed while calculating income from other source. Then we have to talk about what are the amounts not deductible under section 58. Deductible is coming under 57, not deductible coming under 58. In general, certain expenses are not allowed. That is one we have already discussed. Personal expenses not allowed. Any interest chargeable under the IT Act which is payable outside India. So any interest payable outside India but chargeable under IT Act, from which income tax is not deducted at source. So TDS is not deducted at source, that is not deducted, and payment made outside India, that is not allowed. Any payment which is chargeable under the head salaries, any payment that is chargeable under the head salaries, and that amount is payable outside India without deducting TDS, without deducting tax at source, that is also not allowed. Any expenditure covered under section 40A of IT Act, as you know, purely disallowance expenditures, purely disallowed under business and profession. Section 40A defines purely disallowed expenses, that is also not allowed here. Wealth tax, which is a personal tax, if paid is not deductible. Wealth tax is not deductible. In the case of foreign company, expenditure relating to royalties, technical services, fees covered under section 44D is not deductible. 44D. So any foreign company payment, royalties, technical services, fees not covered under 44D, that is covered under 44D, not allowed. And expenditure incurred to earn income. Expenditure incurred to earn income. What type of income? That is winning from lotteries, crossword puzzles, races, horse races, card games, gambling, betting, card games, races, horse races, that is also not allowed to deduct from the gross income. Only owning and maintaining a horse race expenditure allowed. So students, here the income from other source in 100% I have covered the head of income, and problems if you have to do going through the any textbook or study material, whatever may be, if there is any doubt you face, you can go through the note, you can go through the recording class clearly. I think what I mean to say, there is no problem if you do any problem by 100% going through the note, definitely. So this head of income is closed here. Thank you.